Sup Swarm, Sketchy here, and welcome to episode 3 of Nah Fam, the show where I give my take on your hot takes. First of all, I apologize for this video taking so long to come out, but your boy was waiting on his new PC to get here, so now that it is, let's get cracking. So, last episode I asked you guys for your Pokemon hot takes, and as per usual, I'll be trying to answer as many of these as I can within 10 minutes. So, let's get started. Cheaty the Litleo says, Generation 1 isn't as good as the fandom made it out to be. I mean, yeah fam, but I feel this is one of the coldest takes in the Pokemon fandom. As more and more generations come out, less and less people feel that Generation 1 is the best generation. It's been years since I've seen a Gen 1er in the wild. They do exist, but it's been a long while since I've encountered one personally. Honestly, the Pokemon franchise pandering to Gen 1ers is a lot more annoying than the Gen 1ers themselves nowadays. Minion of the East says, I feel Black and White is a bit too preachy with Team Plasma, and throws out all the build-up about wanting to liberate Pokemon by having Gestis be a hypocrite to use Pokemon when every other trainer had released theirs. It's gonna be a nah fam for me, mainly because I feel the whole point of Team Plasma was that they were basically the Pokemon world's version of PETA. So when you view it through that lens, it makes perfect sense that their leader turned out to be a hypocrite. The overcompensating preachiness of Team Plasma I felt was intentional because that's what PETA does all the time. Cameo Shadowness says, if Pokemon Burst was a game, it would have been way more popular. For those who don't know, Pokemon Burst was a manga about humans that had the power to transform into these Pokemon human hybrids. It was pretty cool from the concept. I haven't read the whole manga, but I have seen enough of it to get a grasp of it, and I think it's really cool. And I'm gonna have to say yeah fam to this because I would have loved to see this as an actual turn-based RPG, maybe in the style of Dragon Quest or Persona or something like that. And it would have been really cool to see, especially if you got a really good studio to do the animations for it. Just chef's kiss. So Maple Samurai and several others said Pokemon would be better if they changed the protagonist every generation, similar to Digimon or Yu-Gi-Oh! This was actually the most recurring take in the comments, and honestly, I would like to see it. While I will give Ash credit for the seasons that he is written competently in, even if he was written perfectly every single time, I would still want a change of pace. Like, I'm getting tired of seeing him as the main protagonist. Mr. Wolf Shepherd Enterprises says, Pokemon Detective Pikachu is an overrated movie. Sonic 2020 is better than this. Again, this isn't that hot of a take. Most people that I've talked to prefer Sonic over Detective Pikachu. And if I remember correctly, Sonic beat Detective Pikachu in the domestic box office. So as far as the US is concerned, more people were interested in seeing Sonic than Pokemon, even though Pokemon is a significantly bigger franchise. So in what world is this movie overrated? Creativa Artley says, Pokemon was good until they started going outside the core 3 of Ash, Misty, and Brock. Also, they tend to put their viewers in danger because of the Porygon episode. Okay, so it's gonna be a nah fam on multiple accounts. While I miss Brock, Misty is garbage. The only female companion that's worse than her is Dawn, and I'm glad she's no longer part of the main cast. As for putting fans in danger, I don't think one or two instances equates to a tendency. A tendency is something that happens on a regular or at least semi-regular basis, and this ain't it. 7 equals 1 heart says, I think Max from the Generation 3 anime is a very underrated character. There's a lot more after this, but I'm on a time limit, so let's just talk about it. Yeah, I think Max kind of gets an unfair amount of hate, even though he has annoying characteristics that other less hated companions have had. And it at least makes sense for him because he's a little kid that kind of has a chip on his shoulder and wants to prove how smart he is, and then has to be reminded that he doesn't need to prove that all the time. And I do think having him around gave us a younger perspective. And I think one of the best uses of him, and this comment points it out, is in Jirachi Wishmaker, where he formed a very close bond with Jirachi, and it helped that movie be one of the best Pokemon movies to date. So yeah fam, y'all need to leave Max alone. Christian Valentine Kota says, the Pokemon fan base is very hostile to anything that's in the monster collecting genre and calling them ripoffs. It's hard to say yeah fam because The closest thing I've ever seen to hostile is when Yokai Watch was coming out. No one is really that hostile to Digimon these days, and hell, Monster Hunter Stories 2 is coming out, and I have not seen many Pokemon fans getting hostile towards that game. The Rabbit Queen says the spin-off games are better than the mainline games. It's gonna be a yeah fam, but with an asterisk, because certain Pokemon spin-off franchises are on par or better than the main series, but not all of them. Ranger, Mystery Dungeon, Coliseum, and XD, I would consider those either on par or better than the main series. But I know damn well y'all don't think Pokemon Dash is better than the main series. I know damn well you don't think Hey You Pikachu is better than the main series. I think this statement is true for some Pokemon spin-off franchises, but not all. LabLast2882 says, every Pokemon generation has its strengths and weaknesses, and trying to rank them will always end in disagreements. This is less of a hot take and more of just a fact of life. This is true for ranking literally anything. That's why people enjoy tier list videos, because there's always going to be at least something different from person to person. While some people get passionate about which generations they prefer over others, I don't think it's that bad. Francisco Melendez says if Pokemon wants to improve their writing, they need to work on making more charming dialogue. Even a convoluted mess like Gen 4 could have been salvaged if the gym leaders had more distinct personalities and their relationships were more endearing. I don't know about that, because while more charming writing definitely helps, even the most charming game in the world is not going to be fun if the mechanics are garbage. The writing of Diamond and Pearl definitely was one of the issues I had with it, but it was the gameplay that was the biggest issue for me. Charming dialogue doesn't fix how slow the games are, it doesn't fix the poor type distribution, it doesn't fix the sometimes nonsensical level scaling of wild Pokemon compared to your team at some areas of the game. These are all things that better writing will not fix. Leopard Nosepaws says, Paul from the Diamond and Pearl era of the anime was the best rival Ash has ever had, and no one can really come close to being better than him. I'd give a yeah fam to that. The Paul arc is pretty much one of the only parts of the Diamond and Pearl anime I actually liked. Oof, here's a spicy one. Ryan Hanna says, Dawn was awesome. Yeah, she's a sulk and a whiner, but she was also a 10-year-old girl trying to live up to her mother's legacy. Here's the issue. It's a nah fam, and there have been other female companions that have been through similar things that she's been through, and they did not take as long as Dawn did to get their shit together. The story really expects you to have a lot more patience for Dawn than they reasonably should, and that just makes her a lot more insufferable. Especially since we just came off of May, who had an amazing character arc, and the differences between May and Dawn are not significant enough for me to care about her. Zane Russell says, Ash has become a way better trainer than people give him credit for, and as a thematic face for the franchise, Ash is a better fit for the ideal trainer than Red is. It's a yeah fan for me. I do think that he has definitely improved in leaps and bounds from his original incarnation. I feel Gen 1 Ash is the worst incarnation of Ash. But while I do agree that he's a better face for the anime than Red, I am just tired of seeing him. Give us a change, please. And last but not least, Lily Orchard says, Broke, Salazzle is furry bait. Woke, Salazzle is a house cat. Ain't that the same thing? So that will do it for this week's episode of Nah Fam. I think for future questions, I'm gonna ask that you guys kind of keep your takes a little more brief. Some of y'all sent in whole ass essays, and y'all have to remember that I'm trying to answer as many of these as I can, so please keep that in mind for future submissions. As for next episode's topic, I think since E3 just finished as of recording this, let's go with video game hot takes. Whether it's about individual games, franchises, or the industry as a whole, let me know your hot takes. But remember the 2 rules. Number 1, 1 hot take per person. Number 2, please use the hashtag NahFam if you want your submission to be considered. With that, I think I'm out of here. Swarm that comment section below, bug me on social media, and until next time, keep it sketchy, folks. Peace.